In the early 1960s, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, two passionate individuals who had been involved in various civil rights groups, including those embracing the powerful Black Power ideology, decided to take matters into their own hands. They were tired of witnessing police brutality and injustices plaguing their communities, with African Americans enduring life in urban ghettos, characterized by high unemployment rates and substandard housing. It was time for action. In October of 1966, Newton and Seale joined forces and birthed the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, later known simply as the Black Panther Party. This game-changing organization aimed to defend their community against systemic racism and advocate for their rights. They believed enough was enough, and it was time to fight back. The Black Panther Party embraced Marxist-Leninist ideologies and promoted Black Power. The party had chapters in major American cities such as San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Philadelphia. It also had a presence in prisons and established international chapters in the United Kingdom and Algeria. The party initially focused on open carry patrols known as cop watching to challenge the Oakland Police Department's excessive force and misconduct. Starting in 1969, they expanded their activities to include social programs like the Free Breakfast for Children programs, education initiatives, and community health clinics. These efforts aimed to address the needs of marginalized communities. The Black Panther Party also advocated for class struggle and claimed to represent the proletarian vanguard. During World War II, a significant number of black individuals from the southern states participated in the Second Great Migration, relocating to cities like Oakland in the Bay Area. They sought employment in industries supporting the war effort, such as the Kaiser shipyards. This mass migration had a transformative effect on the demographics of the Bay Area and other cities in the West and North, challenging the previously white-dominated population. The new generation of young black residents growing up in these cities faced unique experiences of poverty and racism that differed from those of their parents. Consequently, they sought to develop new political approaches to address these issues. The Black Panther Party attracted members who were recent migrants, their families having moved north and west to escape the racial oppression of the South, only to encounter different forms of segregation and repression in their new locations. In the early 1960s, the civil rights movement successfully dismantled the Jim Crow system of racial discrimination in the South, using nonviolent civil disobedience and advocating for full citizenship rights for black individuals. However, the situation in the cities of the North and West saw limited improvement, as the wartime and post-war jobs, which had attracted a significant portion of the black migration, relocated to the suburban areas along with white residents. The black population became concentrated in impoverished urban ghettos marked by high unemployment and substandard housing. As this happened, the black community faced exclusion from political representation, prestigious universities, and the middle class. The majority of police departments in the North and West were staffed almost exclusively by white officers. A clear instance was the fact that out of Oakland's 661 police officers, only 16 were African American, representing less than 2.5% of the force. Civil rights tactics employed during the time proved inadequate in addressing these conditions, leading to the decline of organizations such as SNCC and CORE, which had played significant roles in nonviolent civil disobedience. By 1966, a Black Power ferment began to emerge, primarily among young black residents in urban areas. The young black women started to ask a critical question that the civil rights movement could not answer at the time. How could black people in America not only attain formal citizenship rights, but also gain real economic and political power? In cities like Oakland, young black individuals formed study groups and political organizations, eventually leading to the Black Panther Party. In 1962, Newton and Seale, both students at Merritt College, met for the first time. They joined Donald Warden's Afro-American Association, where they immersed themselves in reading, debates, and organization, drawing inspiration from figures like Malcolm X and others within the Black nationalist tradition. However, as they became dissatisfied with Worden's accommodating approach, they sought involvement with more active and militant groups like the Seoul Students Advisory Council and the Revolutionary Action Movement, developing a revolutionary anti-imperialist perspective. Working in paid positions at the North Oakland Neighborhood Anti-Poverty Center, where they ran youth service programs, they began formulating a revolutionary nationalist approach to community service, which later became a key element in the Black Panther Party's community survival program. Their dissatisfaction with existing organizations' failure to directly challenge police brutality and connect with the local community led Huey and Bobby to take matters into their own hands. Witnessing the aftermath of the police killing of Matthew Johnson, an unarmed young black man in San Francisco, Newton had an epiphany that distinguished the Black Panther Party from other Black Power groups. He recognized the explosive anger within the ghetto as a potent social force. He believed that by confronting the police, he could harness that force and translate it into a political power. Inspired by Robert F. Williams' Armed Resistance Against the Ku Klux Klan and his book Negroes with Guns, Newton extensively studied California's gun laws, drawing influence from the Community Alert Patrol in Los Angeles, which formed after the Watts Rebellion. He conceived the idea of armed patrols to monitor instances of police brutality. But Newton had an idea. He introduced a crucial difference. These patrols would carry loaded guns. To finance their plan, Huey and Bobby sold Mao's Little Red Book in bulk at a markup to leftists and liberals on the Berkeley campus, using the profits to purchase 2 shotguns. According to Bobby Seale, their intention was to sell the books, make the money, buy the guns, and go on the street with the guns. We'll protect a mother, protect a brother, and protect a community from the racist cops. On October 29, 1966, Stokely Carmichael, a Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC leader, came to Berkeley to deliver a keynote speech at a Black Power conference, championing the call for Black Power. During this time, Carmichael endorsed the armed organizing efforts of the Loudoun County Freedom Organization, LCFO, in Alabama, which utilized the Black Panther symbol. Inspired by Carmichael's message, Newton and Seale decided to adopt the Black Panther logo and form their own organization, known as the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. They also established a distinctive uniform consisting of black berets, black leather jackets, blue shirts, and black pants. The party's first recruit was 16-year-old Bobby Hutton. By January 1967, the Black Panther Party had established its first official headquarters in an Oakland storefront and published the inaugural issue of the Black Panther, Black Community News Service. The Black Panther Party initially utilized the prevailing open-carry gun laws as a tactic to protect their members while monitoring and documenting incidents of police brutality. By following police cars from a distance in neighborhoods, they aimed to record these incidents. When confronted by police officers, party members invoked laws to prove their innocence and threatened legal action against any officer who violated their constitutional rights. During the period from late 1966 to early 1967, the armed police patrols conducted by the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in Oakland's black communities attracted a small number of participants. The party's ranks saw slight growth starting in February 1967, when they provided armed security for Betty Shabazz, the widow of Malcolm X, and keynote speaker at a conference held in his honor during her arrival at the San Francisco airport. However, the party's emphasis on militancy often led to misinterpretations and misconceptions of open hostility, contributing to a reputation for violence despite the Panthers initially focusing on addressing social issues and exercising their legal right to bear arms. They also took advantage of the California law that allowed the carrying of a loaded rifle or shotgun as long as it was publicly visible and not aimed at anyone. This was primarily done while monitoring and observing police activities in their communities, with the Panthers arguing that active militancy and the open display of weapons were necessary to protect individuals from police violence. The Panthers' use of chants such as "The revolution has come, it's time to pick up the gun, off the pigs," contributed to the perception of the Panthers as a violent organization. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense gained significant attention following their protests at the California State Capitol on May 2, 1967. On that day, the California State Assembly Committee on Criminal Procedure was set to discuss the Mulford Act, which aimed to outlaw the public carrying of loaded firearms. Bobby Seale and Eldridge Cleaver, the Minister of Information, devised a plan to send a group of 26 armed Panthers led by Seale from Oakland to Sacramento to demonstrate against the bill. The Panthers entered the assembly while carrying their weapons, generating widespread media coverage and leading to the arrest of Seale and 5 others. The group later pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges of disrupting a legislative session. At the time of the protest, the party had already amassed more than 100 members overall. Although disrupting the legislative activity appeared to be a publicity stunt, it left a lasting impact and unsettled many influential individuals. Back then, the Panthers had a minimal following. However, within a year, their leaders were invited to speak at various gatherings of radicals, and numerous white individuals even wore Honkies for Huey buttons, showing support for the campaign to free Huey Newton, who'd been in jail since October 28, 1967, on charges of killing a police officer. As a response to the Black Panther Party's practice of cop watching, the California legislature passed the Mulford Act in 1967, which was subsequently signed into law by Governor Ronald Reagan. This legislation repealed the existing law that permitted the public carrying of loaded firearms. The original What We Want Now 10-point program of the Black Panther Party was first made public on May 15, 1967, in the second issue of the Black Panther newspaper following the events in Sacramento. Number 1 was We Want Freedom. We want the power to determine the destiny of our Black community. Number 2, we want full employment for our people. Number 3, we want an end to the exploitation and robbery of our Black community by the capitalist. Number 4, we want decent housing, suitable for the shelter of human beings. Number 5, we want education that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches our true history and our role in present-day society. Number 6, we want all Black men to be exempt from military service. Number 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people. Number 8, we want freedom for all Black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. Number 9, we want all Black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in a court by a jury of their peers or people from their Black communities, as defined by the United States Constitution. Number 10, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. We want you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more documentaries just like this. We're on the road to 100K subscribers, so thank you for all the support. Drawing inspiration from Mao Zedong's teachings in the Little Red Book, Newton encouraged the Panthers to prioritize serving the people and implementing survival programs within their organization. One prominent initiative was the Free Breakfast for Children program, initially based out of a church in Oakland. The significance of the Free Breakfast for Children program extended beyond providing meals. It served as a platform for educating young individuals about the challenges faced by the Black community and the party's efforts to address them. Alongside the meals, party members delivered lessons on liberation, which included party messages and Black history. Through this program, the party influenced the minds of young participants, fostered community ties, and gained widespread support for their ideologies. The program's popularity soared, with the Black Panther Party claiming to have served meals to 20,000 children during the 1968-69 school year. In addition, the party implemented various other survival programs that included distributing clothing, offering classes on politics and economics, establishing free medical clinics, providing self-defense and first aid training, organizing transportation for families visiting incarcerated relatives in upstate prisons, operating emergency response ambulance services, offering drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and conducting testing for sickle cell disease. The free medical clinics were significant as they showcased a vision of a world with accessible healthcare. Eventually, these clinics were established in 13 locations nationwide, with roots connecting to the civil rights movement. Their involvement contributed to the establishment of the Medical Committee for Human Rights. In late September 1971, Huey P. Newton led a delegation to China, where they stayed for a duration of 10 days. As Huey arrived at various airports in China, he was greeted by crowds of people waving copies of the Little Red Book and displaying signs expressing support for the Black Panther Party and opposition to U.S. imperialism. The signs read messages such as, "We support the Black Panther Party," "Down with U.S. imperialism," or "We support the American people, but the Nixon imperialist regime must be overthrown." During this trip, the Chinese arranged for Huey to meet and share meals with ambassadors from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, and Tanzania, as well as delegations from North Vietnam and the Provisional Revolutionary Government of South Vietnam. Although Huey had expected to meet Mao Zedong, he instead had two meetings with Zhou Enlai, the first premier of the People's Republic of China. One of these meetings also included Jiang Qing, the wife of Mao Zedong. Huey described China as a free and liberated territory with a socialist government. The Black Panther Party, from its inception, upheld a vision of black masculinity and traditional gender roles. It positioned itself as an all-male organization, described as the cream of black manhood, dedicated to protecting and defending the black community. The party's advocacy of armed resistance was seen as a demonstration of manhood, with guns and violence symbolizing strength and power. However, women played crucial roles within the party, challenging gender norms and fighting for equality. From the early days, women joined the party to combat unequal treatment and assert their rights. By 1969, the party officially recognized the importance of treating female members as equals, marking a significant shift in its stance. Fred Hampton, deputy chairman of the Illinois chapter, even conducted a meeting condemning sexism. The party embraced a womanist ideology that focused on the unique experiences of African American women. It emphasized that racism was a more oppressive force than sexism and criticized mainstream feminism for neglecting issues of race and class. Womanism prioritized race and community struggle over gender concerns, promoting a vision of gender roles where women and men held distinct positions within the home and community. Collaboration between men and women was seen as vital for preserving African American culture and community. The party actively portrayed women as intelligent political revolutionaries, highlighting figures such as Kathleen Cleaver, Angela Davis, and Erica Huggins. Women were depicted as active participants in the armed self-defense movement, protecting their home, families, and communities. The party recognized the importance of women's contributions and their intellectual capacity. Notably, the party faced internal challenges related to sexism and gender oppression, particularly in the Oakland chapter. Instances of sexual harassment and gender conflicts were prevalent, and the New York City Panther chapter had to fend off chauvinistic attitudes from members of the Oakland chapter. Some party leaders viewed the fight for gender equality as a threat to men and a distraction from the broader struggle for racial equality. Nevertheless, the party underwent significant changes, with chapters in Chicago and New York actively addressing sexism and working to eliminate sexist attitudes. By the time the Black Panther Party disbanded, it had established policies to reprimand men who violated the principles of gender equality. The party recognized the importance of women's reproductive rights and officially supported access to abortion, acknowledging the limited availability of abortion services for poor women. It also condemned and opposed prostitution. Child care support became a significant demand from women Panthers, as it enabled them to fully participate in party's activities. In response, the party established on-site child development centers in various chapters, reflecting its commitment to collectivism and the African American extended family tradition. This approach allowed women Panthers to embrace motherhood while actively engaging in party activism. By the end of its existence, the Black Panther Party had made significant progress in promoting gender equality within its ranks. Women held leadership positions, implemented community programs, and played crucial roles in uplifting the black community. The party recognized the importance of addressing sexism from within and worked towards eradicating discriminatory attitudes. In 1977, Huey P. Newton returned to the United States after his exile in Cuba and encountered concerns from male members of the Black Panther Party regarding the perceived excessive power held by women in the organization, who now outnumbered men. One incident that exemplified these tensions was the physical punishment authorized by Newton against school administrator Regina Davis, who had reprimanded a male co-worker. Davis suffered a broken jaw and required hospitalization as a result of the incident. The assault on Davis became a signal that the terms Panther and comrade were associated with gender connotations, implying the inferiority of women within the party. This event, along with other factors, led to Elaine Brown's resignation from the party, after which she relocated to Los Angeles. While some scholars and activists attribute the decline of the party to the period preceding Brown's leadership, a diminishing group of Panthers struggled to maintain momentum throughout the 1970s. By 1980, Panther membership had significantly decreased to only 27 members. Additionally, the Panther-sponsored Oakland Community School closed in 1982, following a scandal involving Newton's embezzlement of funds for his drug addiction. This scandal marked the formal end of the Black Panther Party. If you enjoyed this documentary, then I'm sure you'll love the one we did on why the government murdered Fred Hampton. Click on it now to watch. We'll see you over there.